You're listening tonight to Monroe versus the podcast, and we're here to be thinking about drugs and sad stuff.
There's a part of me that, like, that's easier. Like, I'm totally cool with that.
I mean, if it's something that you're comfortable with and it's
Totally.
not going to be like an issue for you, I mean,
Totally. Like, you know,
you kind of had like a little camping trip in Hawaii.
Sure.
You know?
That's a nice way to look at it. Yeah. But deep down inside, I'm a trash person. I'm a trash person. I saw this meme where it was like Billie Eilish's Bad Guy.
Yeah, yeah.
And then, you know, she does the song, whatever. And then it cuts to Danny DeVito from It's Always Sunny. He's like, I'm the trash man. Yeah. Duh. Doo-doo-doo. And I was like, that's my anthem. I'm a fucking I'm a street rat. Like, I feel like that. I still...
A street rat.
A street rat.
Get out of here, street rat.
It is what it is. But I was going to go my whole career, like, never going to Florida because I'm afraid of Florida Man.
Why? Is it all the weirdos that
Have
are
you
out
ever
there?
Googled Florida Man?
Well, I've been to Orlando.
Have you seen Florida Man?
No, I actually really haven't had time to do a whole lot of exploring out there.
Oh, if you just Google your birthday and Florida Man, you'll see what Florida Man did that day. Let me do it right now. What's your birthday?
November 22nd.
Okay.
86, if there's something specific for
Florida
that exact
Man.
year.
It's the first thing that pops up. Florida Man breaks into restaurant, strips naked, eats noodles, plays bongos. First thing that comes up.
Sounds like a fun Friday night.
Let's Google my birthday in Florida Man. March 23rd.
Coming up.
Florida Man. Florida Man on bath salts, headbutts, car, slaps, fire chief. You know, and it's just like, I'm not about that. Like, I don't want to meet him.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm good, you know, but that's just been, so I'll be going to that and we'll see what's up. And
how long are you there for?
3 days.
Okay.
It should be okay.
Yeah.
So how you doing?
I'm doing good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So what brings you to Austin?
Seeing family as usual. The cousins.
I saw you with a baby online.
Yes.
Whose baby is that?
So that is my cousin Derek's brand new son, Andy. So
Adorable.
he was born. What month are we in? He was born January 30th. So
Well, he's
like
brand new.
just brand new.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that was awesome because I mean Derek is, I believe, 7 or 8 years younger than me. So I remember like seeing him grow up and you know.
He's a young dad then.
A little bit, yeah. Maybe he's like 6 years younger than me, but yeah. So he got married, I want to say about 2 or 3 years ago, and then they brought the kiddo on board, and he's just, oh my god, he's so sweet.
The baby?
Yes.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
So you got to see him.
Yep, got to see him for the first time, and it's just crazy. So technically, he's my second cousin. Since his dad's my cousin,
Yeah.
I think that's how that works.
I know what you mean. I have second cousins. They're just cousins.
Yeah, yeah.
Same last name?
No, so he's last name Adam. So that was my mom's family name. Was
Okay.
Adam. So
Yeah. Oh, from your mom's side? Oh, that's cool.
Yep.
So how long are you sticking around for?
flight is tomorrow at 7:30 at night.
Okay, so a weekend.
Yeah.
And you got to squeeze this in.
Yes.
Awesome. I'm glad you were able
Yes.
to do it. You getting some skydiving in?
So we tried that yesterday. Winds did not cooperate and clouds didn't
The weather,
cooperate.
yeah. No, I feel like
Yeah.
it wasn't a good time.
No,
you
it
took
wasn't.
a gamble during February. It's a
Yeah.
bit of a gamble.
Yeah.
Like this shit doesn't clear up and get beautiful till April, May.
Okay. Yeah.
This is global warming because it never used to be like this. It used to be like California weather all the time.
Yeah.
And then a 1 week of cold during like Christmas time.
The winter.
The
quote
winter,
unquote.
which
Yeah.
was like 60 degrees, which for us is freezing. We go out in jackets if it's 60 degrees.
right.
For real.
No, us Arizonas do that.
But
We do
now,
that in
like, I don't know
Arizona,
what's
too.
going on where, like, winter, like, lasts longer. Like, we're still kind of in the tail end of it, you know? And so it was a gamble, but the winds weren't in your favor?
No. So we got there at around 11. There wasn't really, I think there were like 2 fun jumpers, but otherwise it was pretty dead. And so I think it was about 2:30 that we all called it and we're like, let's go drink. But then
it.
right when we got to the bar, winds calm down, clouds open up.
And did you guys have time?
Well, no, we had already been drinking at that point, so that's
Of course.
that's a big no-no.
Of course,
you
that's not a
don't
good.
wanna do
That's not a
that.
good
Yeah,
idea. Dude, I've had a few like, skydiving nightmares after I've jumped. Like, have you had dreams where you're skydiving yet?
Yes. I actually used to have a reoccurring dream when I was a kid. It's really strange. It was, and I don't remember the last time I had it, but it was for years and years and years. It was me just not necessarily
dreams.
recurring
Oh, wow.
constantly. But it wasn't necessarily me skydiving, but it was just me kind of like flying over what looked like Texas to me.
Yeah,
It was like all the oak trees
Uh-huh.
and like just the real soft hills and everything. And but yeah, I have had a couple dreams lately of like being in the door, which I'm good in the door. I'm fine. It's getting me in the plane.
That's the hard part.
That's the hard part.
Wow, because you
And
know
then-
there's no going back.
Yeah, because I mean, once you're in the plane, that's it. Like I remember on my very first jump, it was like, kick me on there, just
Yeah.
get me on there. And then once I was sitting there, it was like, okay, well,
You can't do anything.
this is happening. You're gonna have to deal with it one way
Yeah.
or another. So let's just figure it out as it comes. So
I've had two dreams. One where I had a dream that Dakota was skydiving and his parachute didn't open and he fell down, and he didn't die because it's a stupid dream. But
Right.
I was so terrified, like and I think he fell in the ocean or something, and I was just like so scared. And then I've had dreams where I'm falling and my parachute doesn't open, but I never hit the ground. It's just that that pocket of fear of knowing this is it. Mm-hmm. And in real life, you'd probably fall in 50 seconds, but in the dream, it's just like a never-ending free fall, and it's terrifying. And I wake up and I'm like, I don't want to do that again.
yeah,
I did it once, and I can say that it was completely. Everybody should do it once.
Yeah,
for sure.
absolutely.
Like my wife's probably a scaredy cat. She would never do it. Like if I surprised her on her birthday and was like, "Let's go," she'd be like, "I'm not." She wouldn't get out of the car.
Yeah.
And I'd be the asshole, right? But you have to want to. You can't force someone to go.
Right.
It's
I
like-
mean, this is a very unnatural thing to do. There's a lot of stuff that can go wrong, but it's completely life-changing, I feel like.
For sure. So walk me through the first time you did it. Why'd you want to do it? Like, how did you get that idea?
I mean, I've always wanted to skydive. It was just, kind of on my bucket list. I never actually even thought about learning how to do it solo. It was just one of those, like, let's go do a tandem, cross it off the list. And then after I did it the first time, it was like, that was pretty badass. That was pretty awesome. And then just seeing all the fun jumpers there and everything and everything that they can do up there. And, they all just blow my mind. All those fun jumpers at Lone Star, they're all just...
They're psychos.
They're amazing psychos.
They're nuts.
Yeah.
I can't believe that's what they do for fun.
Yeah, like every weekend,
I learned that what happens to me is I disassociate, and
Yeah.
I can't become present, and I think I black out or something, like a lot actually.
Really?
Yeah, like if I'm driving and I'm not listening to something, if I'm a passenger or if I'm not, I'm always have noise around me. I'm that guy. Just the other day I was flipping channels on the TV and I was like, I had to go leave to go cash a check or something, and I'm like, I have to put on the television so I can leave the house.
Yeah?
Even though I know someone's probably going to turn it off.
Yeah.
But I'm there for like 20 minutes. Like I have to find the right thing. This sounds crazy saying it out loud. But I'm like, I have to have noise. I have to know that there's noise so I can leave. I can't get off the couch until I know there's noise.
Okay.
It's a very weird thing. But if I don't have that, like I'm very spacey. Like I'm like, oh fuck, what was I doing? What am I supposed to be doing? Like that happens a lot.
So noise just kind of like grounds you.
Noise,
technically,
like-
then. Like it actually keeps you from like...
Yeah, it keeps me from floating away.
Yeah.
And so I remember the first time I jumped, and I didn't have a choice. It was just like, you're jumping. And I was like, yeah, of course I am. And then I remember they put the straps on me, and I was like, this is it? Everybody had a helmet. I was like, why don't I get a helmet?
Yeah.
Do I need a helmet to breathe? Like, am I going to die up there? Should I ask? My mom always said the squeakiest wheel gets the grease. So I'm like, I feel like I should ask. And they're like, you don't need one. And I'm like, oh, I don't. Okay. Well, and I didn't ask any questions. I kept my mouth shut. I was with Joe. So I was with the safest guy.
Yeah.
Like, if I was going to die, I was cool with it. Like, I had made the peace. Like, if I die with this guy, it's all good.
Yeah.
Like, this guy had 10,000 jumps or something. Like, it's all good. But it wasn't until, like, I got home that I was like, I had very sensible panic and fear. I think if you don't, there's something wrong with you.
Yes.
But I don't know if I was like, if I were to go again, I'd be way more scared.
Really?
Oh, hell yeah.
Well, now you know what to expect.
Now I know, like, I'd be like, Mother of God, Mother of God, Mother of God. Like the whole time, I would just be like, this is too real. It's like the gnarliest thing, and I'll never forget it. And it's giving me, I don't want to say nightmares, but it's giving me gnarly dreams. But I've noticed through like big seminal events in my life, I will black out. Like, not that high school graduation was all that, but like I don't remember it. Supposedly I was there.
Yeah.
You know, some movie premieres and stuff. I don't remember anything. You know, like I look back and I'm like, I don't know who was there. I wish I gave people hugs. Like I don't have I just black out for something, and I think it's like my mind's way of being like, we'll take over from here, but just you can go take a back seat, you know? Like,
Yeah.
So how do you remain present and not lose your shit when you're jumping?
See, that's something that I'm still trying to figure out.
Really?
Yes. So my very first jump, the day I got there, so we had done ground school the day before, but the winds were too high, so we didn't get to jump that day. So we came back on that.
This is 2018, right?
This was September 2019, like mid-September.
Oh, okay.
When I came to do the AFF.
Oh, okay.
So the very first tandem was
That's right.
December 18th in December 28th, 2018.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's where I met you.
Yes. That was, I mean, that day just in general was a little crazy, but
Yeah.
I didn't have like the fear or anything that day. It was when I started the AFF that I had a really hard time with it. Like I remember waking up that morning and realizing what I'm about to do, and I woke up like 2 hours early. I could not go back to sleep. Immediately got sick, had to run to the bathroom, and it was like anxiety to the absolute max. And I remember I got to the drop zone, and I was very open with everybody, like, hey, I'm having a really hard time right now. Like, I don't know if I want to do this. Like,
Yeah.
I don't, and it's...
And what's the vibe? Like, how do they
they're
treat that?
amazing. I mean, everybody wants you to jump. I mean, they want you to jump. They want you to be part of it and to experience that. But at the same time, everyone that I talked to was extremely understanding and, you know, shared their stories of, you know, when they were brand new and super nervous and not knowing, you know, what do I do if this happens?
Do you think that's Skydive Lone Star, or do you think that's part of like the culture? Because there is something very holistic. Like they want your spirit to do it, man.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. I mean, I think the skydiving community in general, I would say, is extremely supportive, extremely very much like that family vibe, but there's something very, very special about Lone Star. The people at Lone Star, I don't even know how to put it. I've been to a couple other drop zones, and there's a certain vibe there that and that's why I live in Phoenix, and I don't jump in Phoenix.
Yeah, and that's because
it's just
there's a place to do it there.
Oh yeah, it's Eloy.
Have you
Skydive
done it before?
Arizona. In Arizona.
Uh-huh. Wow, so you go all out of your way.
Mm-hmm. And it's strictly, and I mean, Skydive Arizona is, I believe it's the biggest skydiving facility, at least in the country, possibly the world. I might be wrong on that one.
Oh my, I think you're right.
But I know for a fact it's the biggest one in the country. So I mean, but when you have that many people, you know, at one location, you know, they'll fly up with 2 planes at a time. They'll have 30, 40 people in the air at once, and it's like, I'm not there yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just a little intense. Their landing areas are super different and, you know, a lot more compact. You know, Lone Star, you have a lot of room for air, you know, when it comes to like landing.
True.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah. Do you think it's kind of like, do you have any tattoos? Mm-hmm. Okay. So, you know, when you get your first tattoo, it's a pretty intimate experience, right? Mm-hmm. Somebody's in your bubble, right? And then maybe when you want your second one, you're like, I'm going to go to the same place because I have a rapport there.
Yep.
If it went well, right? Do you think there's kind of that approach of like, in lulling, it's sort of safe, like a safe space?
yes,
There's a part of that, right?
for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. And I mean, when I went out there for the very first time in 2018, like I fell in love with everybody, but specifically when I went out there in September to start AFF, the fact that so many people at the drop zone took time out of their day, out of their time to jump, to come sit down and talk to me and be like, hey, you know, tell me what's going on. Like, what are you feeling? You know, this is what happened to me. This is what helped me and all this. And so so after that first jump, everything went fine on the first jump. Everything was great. Like perfect. And then
By yourself?
so AFF. So I had 2 instructors. I had Launchpad and Logan.
Mm-hmm.
And so the 3 of us jump out together. So one's hanging onto my right leg, and
But you're still, it's not tandem.
no. Yeah, no. I mean, the landing and the canopy flying is on me at that point. And that's the thing that gets me, is that I am fine.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
I mean, they're holding your hands in the air, but they're going to go their separate ways.
Yeah. So what actually matters, like,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, a lot can go wrong in free fall, but like what actually matters is, getting back down to the ground safely. And that is 100% on you. Like, yeah, you've got a radio, but
you have to have orientation, right? And just for the listeners out there, like, you can't be on your back, or you can't, you have to. There's a method to the madness on just floating on your stomach, right? What's that called? That position?
belly fly.
Belly fly. Just getting there. You need to have core strength. You need to know the basics, the fundamentals. You can't just willy nilly. It's not. You can't figure it out when you're in the air. When you're falling. So you have a support system. That was your second jump?
So the very
You did
first
one tandem?
AFF. No, I did. So actually, I did the first tandem December 28th, 2018, and then I came back here for work and ran out to Luling and did a second tandem. And then in March, I went to San Francisco and decided to go try out that drop zone, which was awesome. It was really cool. But I believe they only do tandems out there. They don't do any like fun jumpers or AFF or anything like that, because the landing area is like super, super small over there.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty busy airport as well.
Scary.
And then came back out in July, did another tandem, and then started AFF in September.
So I want to hear more about that. What do you call the jump when you're with 2 other people?
AFF, just AFF jump.
Okay. I want to hear more about that, because it's actually frightening to hear. But I think I've jumped with a few people that for the first time, and it's 50-50. Like, some people will be like, that was great, let's do it again. And then there's like, check, done with that.
I do feel like there's not really a whole lot of gray area. It's either,
it's
either
black
you
and
love
white.
it or nope.
It's binary. And I was one of those, like, cool.
Yeah.
Did it. And don't get me wrong, I do think there's something to like doing it maybe once a year or something like that. Like, totally. I have no fucking interest in doing it for sport or doing it for fun and getting like a license. No interest. Like, I guess what I'm trying to say is I think you're fucking nuts.
You said that before.
Yeah, and so you did it the first time, and that day was a scary day. One could call it a red flag.
Yeah.
That guy, I don't want to, I love him and he's great, but he's like smarter than me, in better shape than me, wiser, has probably more responsibilities, and for a variety of factors of which I don't know, he jumped out and got hurt real bad. And that's scary. Like, that was the first time where like it just wasn't fun, like it just didn't feel fun. Like it's kind of hard to justify in a way, but it's one of those, you get back on the horse. I mean, he's done it since.
He was jumping again, I think, like a month and a half later.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And he was one of the ones that came up to me during my AFF and was like,
wow.
And like talking to me and everything. And I'm like looking at him like, dude, if he can get back up there, I can get back up there. And then he even said, he was like, you don't want to be a quitter. Don't be a quitter.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, mother.
You have to hear that, don't you?
Yeah.
But you
like,
have to be
shit.
nuts to want to go back on the bull again, Like, for me, I was like, I'm good.
Yeah.
It's such a scary thing, skydiving, right? And so what is it about your personality that lends to that sort of adrenaline junkie side of you? Did you know that about yourself going in?
Yeah, I've always liked, I guess, pushing the limits a little bit just to see, how far can we go here?
Really?
Yeah. I mean, not I would say probably skydiving might be the craziest thing I've done, but yeah, I mean, anything new, I'm open for, adventures or anything new, anything that's going to kind of get me out of my comfort zone a little bit, because, I feel like you only really grow when you're uncomfortable.
That's so true.
So
you're saying that and you mean that?
Yes.
There are people, that sounds like an Instagram post.
I know.
It sounds a little corny. Not when you said it, but there's the people tag me and stuff all the time. This is something you would say, and I'm like, do I sound like that? 'Cause no, man. But you do mean that, huh?
I do. I think,
I think you're getting a lot out of like the one ticket that you get on this planet.
I'm trying.
You're getting a lot out of that. You know?
Yeah.
We're so lucky that we have a chance to be humans. We could have been a cockroach.
Right.
I think about that all the time. Like,
Yeah.
I could have been a tortoise, which probably would have been cool, but bad example. But I'm a human, and we live in this time where you can fall out of an airplane. Like, that didn't exist 100 years ago.
Yeah, an airplane's a toy now.
Yeah.
And you just get to go play.
Yeah, that's insane. We're the only species on the planet that does that for fun.
Right.
Yeah. So you have to be a certain type of personality type to want to do that, you know? And so you really mean it that you just kind of like want to get out of your comfort zone in that way?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like when I started the AFF and I realized, honestly, like, I had a super emotional experience with it. It was about like 10 minutes after I got back down on the ground where it all of a sudden hit me of what I just did. And you got to go back up there and do it, you know, however many more times to finish the AFF. And then my cousins actually started their AFF with me. They are 6 jumps away from their A license now.
And you?
I've still only done the 3 AFFs.
Okay.
So,
okay.
yeah.
How many is it? 18, 20?
I believe it's 25 or 26 to get your A license, and that includes the 7 AFF, 6 or 7 AFF.
Wow.
Yeah. But my cousin Danny had been on the same load with me, and he came down, and this was both of our first AFF jumps ever. And he comes, and we're, you know, just talking about everything that happened, and he was like, "Yeah, I had like 4 or 5 line twists." You know, this is his very first jump.
Mm-mm.
And that, when I heard that was like, nope.
That
This
sounds
is
like
stupid.
it's really common,
Like,
though.
It is. It is a little bit more common than I like to think about.
Uh-huh.
But it has a lot to do with your body position when you actually deploy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I guess there could be errors in packing, but most of the time line twists are the jumper's
Yeah.
fault.
And so that scared the shit out of you.
That scared the hell out of me. Yeah. So after that, and immediately, and it was like, this is something that I'd been wanting to do since December,
Yeah.
you know, thinking this is something that I really want to do, getting super excited about it. You know, I got my family involved now, and then now I'm having this reaction that I did not expect at all. And I started crying and just was like, you know, just, I was the one that wanted to do this, and now I'm the one that's like being a total bitch about it, you know? And, yeah, so I didn't jump at all for the rest of that day, but I decided to come back the next day. And Joe was like, just show up. We're not saying you're going to jump. Just show up.
That's great. That's great advice. They know.
It's like, all right. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and Joe literally has done everything perfect to where I need it. Like,
Yeah.
when I need to have a kick in the ass, he kicks me in the ass. Or
love-
when I need to have someone hold my hand, he's going to hold my hand.
I love his
You know?
energy. He's such a great guy.
Yeah, he's awesome, and he can just read it very well of what he needs to do to make things a little bit, you know, less terrifying.
Yes,
So
that's right.
so I ended up getting there the next day, did a training tandem with Joe just to kind of calm the nerves a little bit, and then I did 2 more AFFs that day. So that was my last one.
That's heavy. Mm-hmm. That's the last one you've done since
That's the last AFF jump I've done, yeah.
September.
I did do a tandem in November because I was going to continue AFF in November. But that day the winds were going back and forth again and back and forth. They were going over 14, and then they died down to like 8, and then they jump up to 16, and you know. So I was like, you know, this is too squirrely. I don't even want to mess with it. I'll just do a tandem.
Better safe than sorry.
Yeah, I mean,
You're not.
It's
you're not trying to
frustrating
look
for
cool
me,
in front of
though.
anybody, though.
yeah, no, it's mostly just I know that this is something that I want to do, but it's like I'm standing in my own damn way, you know, of just
But
this
I
fear that I have
I think
with it.
I had somebody on the show who was I don't want to call her a doctor because she got mad when I said that, but like a counselor.
Okay.
And she was talking about like the shadow self. And I thought that was really interesting. Like, our biggest enemy is basically ourselves. And no matter where you go out, you know, your shadow is going to be there, right? And
Yep.
so every time you're going to jump, you're going to confront that, your shadow, like every single time. You're going to have to overcome that. that's the thing that I think the vets especially are addicted to
Yeah.
is overcoming that adversity, that fear, that reality, of impossibility. And when you overcome that, I mean, don't you want a beer after that?
Absolutely. Yes.
And and you have to remember, like, that's why you make the trip and you fly on an airplane 1,000 miles to come do that here in this safe space, is to overcome that side of you. Because you know that the reward, it's just so sweet. So don't forget that for sure.
Oh yeah. I mean, I remember after the last AFF jump that I did, like driving back from the drop zone, it was just like, I fucking did it. Like just feeling just like we did it. We could have completely just kicked it out, been done with it the day before, but we tried it again.
I'm so proud of you. That's awesome. That's scary. I can't do it. I'm not that guy. I just don't have that wiring, I almost thought when I first jumped out that like it wasn't going to happen. Like I almost thought it was like a joke in a way. And everybody's jumping and they're like, yeah, put your feet out and all that thing. And I think we like did like some gainer thing or whatever. And, it was surreal, but I also felt like it wasn't real. Like I don't know what's wrong with me in that way, but like it's hard to, when my daughter was born and I saw that felt real for some reason. Like that felt very real. I didn't disassociate from that for whatever reason. But skydiving, like maybe I should do it one more time just to, what is that? How does that shocks the system. It's got to do something to your physiology.
I mean, I think just with me, it's just more mental, 100%.
Everything's more mental, don't you think?
Yeah.
My son said the other day, he was, I was cooking something and he's like, I could be a master chef. He's like, if I tried. And I was like, that's such a little kid thing to say. We've all said that, like I could do this if I tried. I could be really great at this if I tried. And I was just like, but why don't people try? Like that's what now as an adult, when I hear that, I'm like, but how come you're not trying? Like anybody can learn anything, can do anything. You can train anybody to do anything, but how can you convince them or make them show up every day? That's the mental part of the game that is very hard to overcome. And like, we don't teach that in schools. Like that's where a kid's supposed to really develop that, So I think you found something that pushes you. And I think you can take that with you, with your family, with your career, with the rest of your life, wherever you go. And so I encourage you to keep doing it for sure. I know I'm like a scaredy cat. I'm always going to be a scaredy cat in that way. I feel the same way about people who get into mixed martial arts. I'm like, I don't want to get punched in the head.
Yeah.
I feel that way about people who scuba dive. I'm like, no, thank you. But there are people that, I'm almost envious of that can challenge themselves and put themselves in compromising positions to get out of it. So how's that affected your life outside of skydiving? It's got to change your perspective.
It does. It did 100%, because I feel like that day, the very first AFF, I don't think I've ever been more afraid in my entire life, ever. Walking to that plane, sitting on the plane and realizing that this is what I'm about to do. And then after that, I remember having a conversation with my family and everything, thinking like, well, hell, now that I did this, like anything else, if there's anything else that comes my way, I feel like I have the ability to, take a step back and just kind of push forward, just
mow through it.
Yeah. Just go.
Just go. I think I put that in a bottle and sell it, and I drink it every day. Like that's what life is really about. Like trying to cultivate more of those moments and feelings. I'm trying to be better about that. So something I want to pick your brain about is you are. Here's the thing. I don't know if you feel this way. I'm like a curmudgeon. Like unfortunately, I'm trying to be better about that as well. I'm a work in progress. But when people are really good at arts and they're really creative and they're really talented. You're a very talented photographer.
Thank you.
Kind of makes me hate you a little bit.
Why?
Because I'm like, what does she got? What is she doing that I'm not doing? It just like, I project insecurity. It's like, what does she have that I don't have? You're just, and you've been doing it forever, and you're like a real photographer. And I don't want to speak for you, but you've done the classes and everything. Like you're a real photographer. There's so many of us that like take photos on our iPhones. that are the reasons why, real photographers hate us, and I'm one of those. Like I'm a fraud, like in that way. And so, it's not very often that I get to talk to photographers that I look up to. Like, how did you get into it?
Oh, I mean, I feel like I've had a camera on my hand ever since I can remember.
Really?
Yeah, same thing with my mom. She absolutely loved photography, and I feel like I kind of picked that up from her.
Wow.
And yeah, I got started in high school doing like the film development in the dark room, and I absolutely fell in love.
Old school.
Oh yes, which I don't think there's a whole lot of schools that do the dark room anymore. I think, obviously everything's turned over to digital, which I understand, that's where the industry is. But at the same time, I feel like for someone to be able to start with that base of, the film and actually know how, light and all this works from like the film aspect, and then transitioning over to digital, it's going to make digital, first of all, you're going to appreciate it a hell of a lot more.
Yeah.
And I don't know, you just understand the kind of inner workings of photography a little bit more, I feel
And
like.
so how old were you during that time?
Started that when I was 17.
What year was this?
That was senior year.
Mm-hmm.
So I did, because photography class was like that list. Everyone wanted to take photography. So it was like I got pushed back.
Was it cool at that time?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Everyone was walking around with the, Minolta cameras with their, fancy straps and all this, and taking random pictures of this, yeah. Yeah, we did something with, have you heard of a pinhole camera?
No.
So you can make it out of like a shoebox, and I can't remember exactly how to do it, but you make it out of a shoebox, you make this tiny little hole.
Oh, right.
And then you put the
I just saw a TikTok
paper.
about this.
Yeah, you put the paper on the other side of the box, or inside the box, and
Yeah.
then like you uncover the hole for however long, close it back up, and then you develop you're making like a negative.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's one of the things I learned in there, but
That's so cool.
yeah.
And you got bit by the bug. Did you think, well, I want to do this for a living?
I never actually really thought of it being something I would do for a living. It was just something that I absolutely loved and was constantly trying to learn as much as I possibly could, pick everyone's brains, and just have as much experience with it as possible. And then there was a place in the mall called the Picture People, where I got hired on, and that was my very first professional photography job.
How?
And I was...
Were you out of high school?
I believe I was 18 or 19.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
At the mall.
Mm-hmm.
And what'd you do? Like portraits?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so it was... and this was before they turned digital. So this is film. And the camera that we used was on a tripod, and it wasn't like the viewfinder where you're looking in it like this.
Mm-hmm.
You have to look down into the camera.
Oh, I've seen those.
Everything's reversed.
Yeah.
It's manual focus.
Oh,
now,
yeah.
photograph a 2-year-old who doesn't want to sit still
Yeah.
with manual focus and do it
Yeah.
in, I think the sessions were like 10 minutes long. It
Hard.
was boot camp.
Oh, so you learned soft skills real fast.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like making sure, it's tack sharp, and, getting the expressions and the composition, and,
And plus, once you take the photo, you can't see it.
No.
So you don't know if you got it.
Nope.
That's hard,
You
man.
just got to keep taking them.
How long did you have that job?
I was there for
By
about
the way,
a year and a half.
This sound fucking killing me right now.
Oh, the truck?
It has to
Oh.
happen.
Yeah.
It has to happen when we're doing a podcast. But fuck it, I don't care. This has happened before, and then I can't hear it for
Oh,
some
really?
reason. Yeah. God, it's so loud. I'm so sorry. How long did you have that job?
About a year and a half.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Full time, part time?
Full time, and then from
That is a boot
there,
camp.
yes, and then from there went to another photography boot camp. Life Touch is the school, the company that goes into the schools and does like the yearbook photos and the sports and proms and all that. And they also had a division for senior photography and families and weddings and everything. So I was with them starting in 2006.
2006. Wow, dude, you've been doing this for a while.
Mm-hmm.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So, but the thing is that I feel like I really lucked out on was working for Life Touch and like the studio division in particular. I learned lighting, posing, all the inner workings of the camera, editing, retouching, all kinds of stuff, and I was getting paid for it. So it was like getting paid to go to school, and
That's the dream.
It was awesome.
So were you considering, did you go to college?
No.
Me too.
I did not.
You're in good company. Don't worry. I'm not judging you.
Yeah.
I went to community college for a few semesters, and then I was like, wait, this is an option? I'm good.
Yeah.
I don't want to do this. But I lucked out. I don't have student loans or anything. So, I mean, at 18, 19, I'm curious. Like, how do you know at that age, like, to take this seriously?
I don't know. It was just kind of something that I just decided to run with and just see what happens. And then it turned out that, people actually...
During the early 2000s, like, it hasn't, the internet wasn't really at scale.
Mm-mm.
We didn't have smartphones yet, so there was no Instagram. And
I think
so
like MySpace was
popping.
just getting started. I want to say it was like 2005, 2006.
Yeah,
something
MySpace.
like that.
Oh my gosh, there's a blast from the past.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it wasn't on our phones yet,
Nope.
So you had to go to a computer, and it was kind of like nerdy if you were the person with the phone. I mean, with the camera, right? Like, I'm this person taking a camera.
I don't know. I never really got that, like, the nerdy vibe.
I got that. It was a video camera for me, and so it's just like, I still get that to this day. Like, really? Like, you're glued to your camera, and I'm like, this is how I feel real. Leave me alone.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I'll take a family, like, for Thanksgiving, I took the big picture of, like, 18 people or whatever.
Yeah.
And they're like, get into the photo. And I'm like, I am the photo, man. Like, this is my fingerprints all over this thing, even though I'm not in it.
Right.
I like that. There's, like, an authorship to that. But that's just been my whole life. And so I can recall 2006. Like, was it sexy and cool during that time?
I think so. I remember in high school it was kind of like the new, like hip, not new, but like, like the cool hip thing. Yeah. I mean, I don't know how to put it. There was a smaller group of people who were super into it.
Yeah.
And
it was niche, I guess.
Yeah.
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 That's cool. And how did you know, like, was there good money in it? Can I ask?
To begin with, no. Not at all. But, slowly through the years that's improved, thankfully. But
yeah. Well, I mean, your work is stunning.
Thank you.
And you make it look effortless.
Thank
and
you.
It's really upsetting. But it challenges me. Like, I guess I kind of feel like, just to tie it back into skydiving, like, when you see people jump for fun and they do all these tricks and they're going through hoops and it's just like, what? You're like, I want that to be me. That's the way I feel with your photography. I'm like, if I keep trying and getting better, like, then maybe somebody will say that about my work,
I mean, I think, are you wanting to do like more like, because I feel like I'm more portraits. You're a little, it's like our styles are just a little bit different.
I definitely don't have a style. Like, you have a style, and there's so much of the boudoir stuff that you do that I've never even seen. So I don't know, but like your wedding stuff, I'm just like, God damn it. Like, sometimes I'm like, wedding photographers are overpriced, and then I see that work and I'm like, oh, no, that makes sense. Like, if you want good shit, you got to pay for it. For me personally, like, I don't see myself as a photographer. Like, I like, my whole career has just been like this weird failing up thing. Like, I'm supposed to be this writer director guy. That's what I'm supposed to be. That's what I am. But, no one's gonna film it for me, so I have to film it. No one's gonna edit it for me, so I have to do it. No one's gonna take the photos, so I have to do it. So it's just been like a lot of, you want it done right, I'll do it myself type thing. But that doesn't imply that I'm good at it or that I'm cut out for it, But I've just learned to do it. Like, at my job, I shouldn't be saying this, but no one ever asked me, like, hey, what are your skills? Like, what are you good at? No one ever asked me that. They just assumed that I do everything, and so I've had to do everything.
You just kind of learn as you go, if needed.
Yeah, they're like, hey, we need you to take photos of the vice president's wife. Okay. Yeah, cool. There's going to be a photo line, and you only have one shot to nail it, like, and I'm just like, don't let them see you sweat, and you're just like, eat papitas, easy, and then you do it. But, I'm like a YouTube university guy, like, let me just YouTube it and see how to do it, but I look at you and I'm like, it would have never occurred to me at 18 to learn photography in the traditional sense. Like, and I came from like this is an excuse, but it's valid. Like, I came from a very poor place that, like, didn't have that. That wasn't even an idea. Like, when I was 19, I was still calling the movie theater to see the times. the movie was
Right.
going to show.
Yeah.
You know, like at 7:30, this and that. And like I was looking at the newspaper in
Yeah.
2006, you know, so like it would have never occurred to me to be like, let me go to a school to learn this stuff. Mm-hmm. Because like the culture was just like, you're going to take photos for a living. You're not going to make money with that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I would have got negged, you know, like I did for filmmaking. It was just like, do you know how hard it is to make it? You're not going to be able to make it, you know? And fortunately, because of the internet, I was able to make a living or whatever. But it took, I mean, I did 10 years of free work.
Right.
You know, I was able to. I met this photographer in December of last year, and I saw his work on Facebook, and I was like, "How the fuck did he do that?" And messaged him, and I was like, "Dude, this is amazing. How'd you do that?" And he was like, "Oh, I just did this with the Lightroom," and I was like, "Oh shit, that's so cool." And he was from Austin, and I was like, "Hey man, I'd love to just film you and record what you do." And so I made a little movie about him, and I got to see him work, and was learning like this is how I learn. Like I have to study somebody, follow them, and film them in a way.
Okay.
And that's how I get like the behind the scenes, and I'm like, oh, that's how people do it. That's how I learned how to make a movie. Was I was filming behind the scenes of movies. Now that I think about this, and he had such a great setup, and all he had was a flash and a backdrop. You know, that's all he had. And you're like, wow, like they do so much with just that, you know. And he'd direct the model, and I was like, how does the model come to your house? Like not in a creepy way, but like how does that even happen? Well, they reach out to you, or you know, you reach out to them, and you know, you have a concept, and he's kind of like, there's like this quid pro quo sort of like, you come, you get a photo, and I get what I want, and you get what you want, and and I was like, so she doesn't pay you to do this? He's like, no, it's just kind of like it's like doing a podcast, you know?
Yeah. And
I was like, oh, so I mean, I just learned that 2 months ago, you know, like I don't know how the photography business works, and there's something kind of like magicians that they kind of keep the secrets. I feel like they don't want to just show people how they do the tricks.
Yeah, I feel like I've run into that a few times, which I feel like is so super unfortunate, because even if 5 people are trained the exact same way and know how to do lighting and composition and posing and all this stuff, each person is going to end up photographing a completely different image. You know, everyone's imagination is completely different. So you, even with the same model, the same background, the same lighting, like it's going to be different, you know, slightly, right? You know, between each person. Yeah. And I feel like when I was learning photography at Life Touch, we had probably 14 or 15 photographers on staff. And a lot of these guys were veterans. They've been doing this for years and years and years.
Yeah.
And so I immediately just latched on to all of them. And it was just picking their brains and just trying to squeeze as much information out of them as I possibly could to try and, you know, figure out, how did you do that? Yeah. And we would have these training sessions, which I miss so much. I wish that we could just get the whole group together again, or just new people or whatever. But we would all be in the studio, and the studio was, I don't know, maybe like a small house size. So, I mean, it's decent.
Yeah.
And so all of us would be in there. We'd all have, you know, it'd be like 3 people to a model. We'd all come up with different concepts, and then we all look through the work.
Kind of like a workshop.
Right, exactly. And then we'd all, you know, I'd see one image and be like, that's really cool, but I think I'm going to tweak it this way, you know, and do something just a little bit different. Kind of almost like adding on, like adding in an accent light, or changing the composition, or just making something more dramatic, or something, just seeing something different. And I feel like that was how I learned photography just in general, with the settings and the lighting and the posing and stuff, was just getting in there and just picking everyone's brains and just kind of getting your hands dirty with it. And
getting your hands dirty. So much of it is just trial and error and experience.
Exactly.
And actually being in it. You can't just stay in your head. Yeah,
no. And I mean, and I'm honestly super, super thankful that I got that opportunity to work with that company, because I learned everything that I know, you know, from all the photographers that I got to work with there, instead of sitting in a classroom. I mean, no offense to, you know, people who take classes or anything like that. Like, I just know that for me, myself, I feel like I learn so much easier, and it sticks so much more when I'm actually doing it, instead of someone, you know, reading out of a book or something.
What are some
like
of your favorite takeaways from that time that you still apply to your work today?
From,
you know, like maybe tips and tricks. Even if it's just like how you talk to someone that you're photographing, or like you said, like these different lights that change the mood of a photo. Like I don't know, like what is something that you learn from there that sticks with you today?
Like photography stuff and like specifically?
Yeah.
I would say something that's something that I use probably every single time I photograph is something called flow posing. So it's a way to get a lot more variety and more images without really moving the subject a whole lot. So a lot of the changes that are being made in the photos are actually done on your part, not necessarily the model's part. So if, like, say it's great for if you have like a super quick session, then you got to get a bunch of images super quick, and you don't want all of them looking, the exact same, or taking, 5 or 6 of the exact same image. So say, you're photographing me, you'll take like a full length this way, and then maybe change your angle over this way, getting, changing the head position and all this changes the lighting. And so you can do, full length, close up, 3/4, vertical, horizontal, of really just that one model staying kind of in the same position. You can tweak them a little bit, like I said, like changing the head direction and stuff.
Do you feel like that's more economic in a way?
Yeah, I think, especially with what I'm doing with the boudoir, the boudoir photography. We have 60 minutes to photograph, but they change 3 times. So sometimes, they can take a long time in the bathroom.
And does that
to get changed.
count as far as the 60 minutes?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So 3 wardrobe changes in 60, that would take me all day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
So
then there's
it's
makeup involved, right?
they come fully hair and makeup ready.
Okay.
Yeah. So they got to be ready to go once they get in.
Okay, so it's just outfits then.
Yeah, it's just outfits. So it's just sometimes, the outfits are a little complicated.
I bet.
So, but yeah, I find that the flow posing is something that I use on probably every single session, just to make sure that there's, variety and everything. And, the model isn't constantly having to change every single time that, you're taking
that's
pictures.
a lot of work for people who aren't even models, right? What's the ratio between models that you film and then people who you have to direct that aren't models?
Honestly, I'd say I probably work with maybe like 10% models, probably less than that. I would say the majority of the people I photograph are just everyday people and it's awesome working with a model because they just make it super easy. You just stand there and snap the camera pretty much, which is great. But at the same time, I love it when, like specifically for like the boudoir sessions, if a girl comes in, say, she's super self-conscious about her body or her weight or whatever it might be, she really wants to have these photos taken, but she might not want to go through like the actual experience of it. But she wants to have the photos. And so for me, when they come in super nervous or you can tell that they're just not feeling super comfortable, I'll show them, an image on the back of the camera. 9 times out of 10, they'll give me this look like, that's me.
Wow.
And that right there,
that's a good feeling, right?
That's my favorite. That's my absolute favorite, for someone to look at a photo of themselves and see the beauty that, that I'm able to see and that everyone else is able to see, but maybe they, haven't been able to see that for whatever reason.
That you nailed it. That's what it is.
That's my absolute, I think that might actually be, and not just boudoir, but everything in general with weddings, families, portraits, everything. I feel like to have someone be like, wow, like I look really good, or that image like really makes me see myself. That's
right.
That's kind of why I'm in this.
That's a beautiful feeling. Yeah, I agree. For me, the equivalent is like filming something, and then you go back and you watch it, and you watch it with the boys, and everybody laughs, or like it's like that was cool, and like that playback feeling of just like, yeah, we have that forever. Like that to me is, it's a good feeling for sure. Like that's what it is. That's why you put up with all the bullshit. What's some of the challenging parts of being a business owner, like someone who's trying to get their photography business out and trying to be busy? Like what's the most challenging part about them?
I would say it's something that you kind of said earlier. There are a lot of people out there, not talking about you.
I'm just kidding.
I'm not talking about you.
I'm not taking your business. I can't do what you do. I wouldn't. I can't do what you do. So I wouldn't even. We're in different spaces for sure.
I mean, I think there's a lot of people out there that think they're photographers, that they've done it for a hobby, or
they dilute the market because they're like, I'll do this for $10 or whatever.
Yep, and they don't understand that. Yeah, you feel like you're helping that client out, but at the same time, you're honestly like really hurting the industry by doing that, because if someone comes to me and says, we want you to photograph our wedding, what are your rates? I give them my rates, and then they come over here to Sally, and she says, well, I'll do the same thing, but half the price or a third of the price or something. It kind of depends on the client. Some of them do go that route, but others, do understand photography is an investment. It's especially for weddings, but just in general, photography is an investment. It's something that, you're going to have the photos forever. It's not something like a cake that's, going to be gone that night, or a dress that you're never going to wear again. It's something that you're going to be looking at for years and years and sharing with, friends and family forever. So if you want to have those photos to be proud of, it's probably a good idea to just make that the investment a little bit.
Yeah, you get what you pay for.
Exactly.
For sure.
Exactly. And I do feel like there are a lot of photographers out there that the light and airy look is very popular right now. It's where it's like not off-camera lighting. Like a lot of photographers nowadays don't know how to use lighting at all. I love the light and airy look, but I'm very thankful that I have the option of being able to add in lights and kind of, just make different looks and different textures. And, I feel like I have a few more tricks in the bag than some other people out there.
I think you do. I think you do for sure. How's business over there in Arizona?
Actually, it's getting pretty good.
That's good.
Yeah. So there's a wedding venue that I'm going to be talking to soon about working with their clients. So anytime that they would have someone that wants to have a wedding at that specific venue, I would be on a vendor's list. Ultimately, I'd be one of the options for them to choose from.
That's awesome.
Yes. And so I'm already on one of the vendor lists up in Sedona, at Agave of Sedona.
Where's Sedona, Arizona?
Yes. So
I'm an idiot.
No. It's super small. Okay. Not a lot of people know about it.
It sounds familiar, though.
It's super popular for the red rocks that they have up there. It's absolutely beautiful. It's probably about a 2-hour drive from Phoenix.
Okay.
And usually about 20 degrees cooler.
Why wouldn't you want to get married there?
It's absolutely gorgeous.
Oh, that sounds beautiful. Where's the Grand Canyon?
That is super north, so I want to say that's like 4 or 5 hours away from Phoenix.
Have you been?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I actually photographed a wedding in Sedona, and then the next day, me, the bride and groom, went up to the Grand Canyon and did photos in her dress and his tux at the Grand Canyon as well.
That's sick.
That was awesome. That was so much fun.
I bet that's not overrated, the Grand Canyon.
Not at all.
I want to go.
And they were fantastic. Like
can you have copies? I'd love to. You can show me later.
Once I get my phone back.
Oh.
Yeah.
Dang it. I'd love to see those.
So the only downside with that is that we had to photograph I think we got out there at probably like 11 a.m. So the sun wasn't in like the best position because usually I have like
natural light.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I did some off-camera lighting, but most of it was natural at that point. But there was this. They were just awesome. Like they were down for whatever, and I was like, "There's this little kind of cliff right there. That'd be really awesome if you guys."
Oh my god!
And I was like, if you guys don't want to do it, I totally understand. And they're like, oh no, let's go. And
they were
so
game.
Oh yeah, completely. And so it turns out like the photo, it looks like they're just kind of floating, like the whole Grand Canyon in front of it.
Beautiful.
It's
so do you ever get asked to do video?
I do, and that's actually something.
Sorry, I'm seeing a bug.
I know, I just saw it too.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure it wasn't like some Jumanji looking mosquito thing. It's all good. It looks harmless.
So I'm wanting to do video.
Do you get asked to do people assume that you do that as well?
Yes, and I feel like it's something I need to add to the bag of tricks because I feel like at this point being able to have both of those options, it won't hurt. And I've done video in the past. I worked for a production company for a little while, so I have a little bit of experience. It's been probably about a year and a half. So the only thing that makes me, I've never edited video. I've never, synced the audio or anything like that with.
Don't be overwhelmed. It's the easiest thing ever.
Really?
Fuck yeah. If you can take photos, dude, that's...
I just feel like there's so much more that goes into video. You have to worry about the audio. You have to worry about the syncing up. You have to,
The best part about video is just it's just knowing that you can manipulate the artifice. Knowing that outside of dialogue, you can just add sound. You can just add that, little chirping if you're out doing an outside thing or whatever. It's make believe. You know what I mean? So
I think I just have to play with it.
Minus the dialogue. Yeah, you want to get good sound for people's voices. You want to make sure they're labbed or whatever. If you're filming a wedding, every wedding's different from what I understand. I talked to some wedding videographers, and so you want to lab the groom because the bride, you can't get in there.
Yep. And
some ministers are like, get the F away from me. Like, don't bring that camera here. And so, there's a lot of that. Like, but as far as the technical side, like the editing, like, I don't know. Like, I think that's easy, like, to be honest. Yeah, it's a very teachable skill for sure. Yeah. You're going to be fine. That's easy. Because, like, here's the thing. You know what aesthetically looks right. You know, you have an iPhone?
Android.
Okay. Well, iPhone has this option where when you take a photo, it's this thing called a live photo. So it's kind of like a GIF, like a boomerang type thing.
Yeah. I've seen that.
It's built in, and so video is kind of just like, if you're going to do a wedding video, let's just say, it's just a moving image. That's what you're doing, Yeah. I've edited some, I prefer to edit what I've filmed versus editing someone else's stuff, but I've edited some weddings, and if the camera person knows what they're doing, it's easy. It's easy.
So that's what I mean. I don't know what I'm doing necessarily.
But just cut out all the bad shit.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all you have to do. You know how if you're taking photos, you're probably taking 200 photos, but 40 are dope. Like, it's just that. No one ever sees the bad ones where, like, the bride's like, no one ever sees that.
Okay. Yeah, I guess.
And if they saw
true.
that, people would be like, Jen, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Right? You just cut out all the bad stuff. I think that's all you have to do. It's going to be easy.
Okay.
But learn it and invest in, and get a client to pay for it or something. Like, invest in a video camera. Like, I wouldn't use your Canon 5D unless, like, you had to practice with it or whatever. But get a video camera.
So, like, what kind of video camera? I know you were talking about Red, but I know.
Oh, I mean, rent a Red. If someone's going to pay for it, rent it and pay someone to operate it. You shouldn't be operating it, in my opinion. But Canon has this line called the C200s, C300s, C100s. Since you're already familiar with the Canon system, I'd go with that. They film 4K 60 frames a second, and they're beautiful images, and they're flat. So I think they film in RAW. So these cameras don't do that. They don't film in RAW. So if you have video RAW, you can manipulate the white balance, the ISO, and so on. So you have more latitude in the editing of making an image really pop. And so I think the hardest thing, the biggest learning curve for you will be color correction and color balance, color grading. Like once. But that even then that's easy now than ever. It used to be, you take that to a whole nother system and they do it now. Editing systems all have it, and I give away free LUTs, which is like Lightroom presets, but for video, like I give those away, and so I can hook you up with some of the best ones and just put it on your image and pow, it's a great place to start. It makes the image pop, and it's not too hard to blow people's minds, provided that you have a basic fundamental understanding on composition, right? Like once you know what makes a good image, then the video part is just like making it floaty, making it pan, make a little zoom out, and then just cutting the images together in a way that tells a story. But those are instincts that you can develop. Like you already do that. Like if you did not have that background, we would have to go from the basics and talk about aperture, right?
Right. Yeah.
So you're gonna fucking kill that. Let me ask you, put you on the spot. You're still going to come to Austin?
Still thinking. I mean, so there was the whole little bit of a, I don't know, I guess kind of a scare when I did the gene testing.
Right. But you're okay.
Everything came back normal. Yes, or negative, thankfully. So
that's very good.
I do have another appointment with that doctor on the 10th, just to kind of discuss what the options are moving forward.
What do you mean?
Because I do have tumors.
What?
In both. Mm-hmm.
What?
Mm-hmm. I got the first one when I was 22. So I had my first mammogram when I was like 22 years old.
So they've been just hanging out?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they're
not. So I had
benign.
They're benign. So I believe it's called, I might be saying this wrong. I believe it's called fibrosis. So just the tissue in there is just very dense, very just fibrous.
Are you in pain?
No, it doesn't hurt at all.
Mm.
So I had an ultrasound done back in 2018, and then I just had one done like maybe 2 weeks ago, something like that. And they're like, there's been no change since 2018. So I mean, having those make me nervous. I know those don't necessarily turn into cancer, but I just want to talk to her and see exactly what the options are. Because if I did come back positive for one of those genes, I would have done the prophylactic mastectomy just to knock it out.
Mm-hmm.
So,
is that still an option for you?
I don't know. See, that's something that I want to talk to her about. I don't know if it's at this point if it's worth it, because I mean a surgery like that is, life changing. It's traumatic, and there's going to be a lot of recovery time and all that. So I'm not sure if it's totally worth it.
Yeah, moving during that time should be like at the bottom of your priorities.
Yeah, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. So like when all this came up, it's like, well, because I've got the doctor out in Phoenix and everything. So
of course,
it's kind of up in the air right now.
Your one buddy would say it. Selfishly, I want you to move because I need friends. Selfishly, like Sensei, and we talked about this off mic, in the past. Like, I'll teach you whatever you need to know in video. I'll help you with that, and then like Sensei help me in photos. And I'm so selfishly, it's like cool. Like I have a buddy, But also, I'd say don't. For that reason, first and foremost. But also, I have like a few photographer friends who don't even work in Austin. Like they'll go to New York and then get their nut, and so they can eat for a month, and like that they just travel, and so I feel like most people do travel, and Austin's more of a real estate, commercial, film production scene. I don't know if there's money in photos, especially with what you do, like your specialty. I don't know if there's money like coming out the wazoo there. There are wedding videographers who are making sick money,
ridiculous amounts.
Yeah, like it's dumb. And so there's that, of course. But even then, they travel and they do one in wherever, Mexico or something, and so you're still traveling there. But so there's that. If and that's a business decision as well. But then you're right next to lulling, so there's that too.
Yeah.
You have
and
a lot
I've got
of
my
reasons.
family out here.
You have a lot of good reasons to do it, but health and wellness comes first, man.
Yeah. So I just gotta. I'll probably know for sure by the end of this month what's gonna be going on.
By the end of March.
So yeah.
Well, let me know.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
And thank goodness, those tests came back negative. Fuck, man. 2020 has just been a son of a bitch. Like it's just been nuts, So
it's been nonstop.
Yeah. So that was like one of the good things that came out of this year so far. One of the last things I want to talk about, because you're this inspiring figure and someone who really committed to a lifestyle change. I guess you got to a point where you're like, you were committed about fitness. Would you agree with that?
I'm not in the gym as much as I should, so I don't know if I should say
I think
fitness.
everybody feels that way.
Yeah.
Maybe except Brad Pitt, but everybody else feels that way. Right?
Yeah.
The cast for Magic Mike notwithstanding, most people feel like they're not in the gym enough, right? So don't be too hard on yourself, but you've come a long way, no?
Yes. So it was actually when I went for the very first tandem in 2018 when they were like, all right, you got to hop on the scale, so they know, what canopy size to use. And I remember I got on the scale and I was like, well, wasn't expecting that. So I was 180 back in 2018. And then it was
late 2018.
Late 2018, yeah. And then, which was the heaviest I've ever been. And I'm 5'7". So it's not, not the best weight to be at that point.
May I ask, how did you find yourself at that weight with now that you're become more self-aware and all that?
Honestly, I was just eating like a monster. Like I feel like it. Yeah.
What were some of your go-tos?
I love Sonic. Oh my God.
Mozzarella sticks.
Yes.
Fuck them, dude.
You don't like those?
No, I mean, get them away from me.
Oh, yeah. It's a problem.
Plus, they make me break out real bad.
Oh.
They're very greasy.
Yeah, but that's the good part.
I know.
That's so good. So good. So I decided...
So you're a Sonic fiend?
Yeah. Sonic. Just Sonic, Taco Bell.
How were you with, like, portions? Are you an overeater?
Yeah. It'd be one of those, like,
really?
It'd be one of those, like, just sitting watching a movie or watching TV and just realizing, like, oh, shit, the bag's gone,
Yeah.
So, And I just feel like I had gotten to a point where I was just being lazy. I almost kind of, I feel like I kind of just let myself go. I wasn't really paying attention. I didn't really care that much.
Were you like busy working and stuff too?
Yeah, I was busy working and actually, yeah, I would say probably 2018 was this, pretty busy year. So I mean, I had
So it weren't like
focus on
it
other...
wasn't like you were in a basement playing World of Warcraft.
No. I mean, I was traveling all over the place, and
Right.
it was just, yeah, and I was, yeah.
And did you have one moment where maybe it was the being on the scale, but did you have one moment where you're like, I gotta change this shit?
Yeah, I was a competitive dancer for 12 years. So it was
think I
like,
knew that.
Really?
Are you fucking kidding me?
No.
A competitive dancer
Yeah.
versus people?
Yes. So I
didn't know that.
Yeah.
No.
It's not like a hip hop battle or anything where everyone's like in a circle around you or anything like that. Like,
You never served anybody?
no, I never
Did
served
you ever
anybody.
get served?
I never got served. Well,
Sorry.
no. So I did. It was like ballet, jazz, tap, hip hop.
Damn, that's
And it
cool.
was with a group
That's
of.
legit.
It was so much fun.
For
So I mean,
12 years.
yeah. So I started when I was. How old would I have been? 6.
Oh shit.
Yeah, I was 6 when I started.
Oh, you're that guy.
I was that. Yeah. Well, this
Wow.
was like the extracurricular. Let's get her doing something
Smart.
Yeah. And I just fell in love with it. So it was the team was probably varied from like 20 to 30 girls. Every once in a while there'd be a guy in there. But yeah, I competed probably at least 8 or 10 times a year.
Wow.
So and I feel like back then, I would be at dance on Mondays from 6 to 9, Tuesdays from 5 to 9,
And
and then
that's a
Thursday
grind.
and that because you'd go to school, get the homework done really quick, then you gotta hop over to dance, and then Thursday we were there. I mean, so it was a lot of physical activity all
Yeah.
the time,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember I just looked at myself in the mirror like around January after I had seen the scale and everything, and I was like, oh man. We've gone a little too far here, I feel like, and it was just I didn't feel good. I didn't have any energy. I didn't feel good about myself inside or out, and it was just like we got to do something. There's something needs to change here because I'm not digging this.
And so that was, let's just say, early 2019. Here we are in early 2020.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been at it for a whole year?
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, I would say, yeah. I mean, I definitely still cheat. I still love my mozzarella sticks, but I've definitely learned portion for sure. And I've cut out carbs for the most part.
Have you really?
Yeah.
Wow, that's
pretty
intense.
much although I do drink my carbs.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
I bet you do.
Mm-hmm. So
Do you
get a balance.
What time do you eat? Like, do you have a structure like on time and all that?
So I've never been one that really eats breakfast. Like I'll do like a protein shake in the morning, but I usually probably won't eat until like 2 or 3. And then I try not to eat past like 9 o'clock at the absolute latest.
Oh, okay.
I feel like, which technically I found out that's that time frame of eating from like 1 to 8 or something like that is intermittent fasting, I guess.
That's correct, yeah.
Which I didn't even realize that was a thing.
That's helpful for you then.
It helped me big time,
Yeah.
yeah. Because I mean, right when I cut out carbs, I probably lost 6 or 7 pounds within the first like 2 weeks, and then did the plateaus every once in a while.
Of course.
And so
How do you break through a plateau?
I'm not exactly sure what I did. I think it just, I don't know.
You're being
fixed
healthy
itself.
though, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I'm not. No. This is why, because I'm 150 right now. So I'd like to get down to
Wow.
140.
Congrats. That's
140 would be.
I've lost 100 pounds since the last time we talked.
Are you serious?
The same 10 pounds over and over again.
Oh.
But for real, man, like you get proud of yourself and you're like, I deserve this.
Exactly.
And then before I know it, like a junkie, like I'm
Yep.
just like sonic overdose or something.
Yep. But it's crazy though, because like I can feel like when I eat carbs, I can feel it immediately. Like I can feel it just in my body. Just
Yeah, I know.
it's like you want it so bad, so bad, and then you have it, and you're like, ah, you idiot.
Yes.
Now you feel like crap.
Oh yeah.
Now we got to start this whole thing over again.
30 pounds, but like the best part is you've kept it off. So it's working.
It is.
Are you still inspired and motivated to keep at it?
Yes. So like I said, I want to get down to 140. I don't know how maintainable that'll be to actually stay at 140.
You look super good. Like you look
Thank
like
you.
you walk around like this and it's like normal for you. Like this seems like a healthy place to be.
I mean, I like it. I feel like
If you lost 10 more pounds, like I don't know. Why do you want that?
I don't know.
I'm not gonna tell you what you should look like, but like, do you feel like that's healthy?
I feel like staying in between like the 140 and 150 for me would be ideal. Like just between those 10 pounds.
So what's the plan to drop 10 pounds? What's the plan?
I need to get my ass back in the gym. I feel
see.
like I'm on the plateau right now. I've been kind of going back between like 151, 149, and I feel like if I were to actually
You weigh yourself
go
often?
back into the every day. Yeah. So I feel like that's actually been able to help me
Has it?
with foods as well, because it's like, okay, you ate this 2 days ago and now look at you. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? So I'm actually able to see like what the different foods like do to my body.
And beer.
You know,
Isn't it?
and beer, yeah.
I'm just kidding. I've noticed that like if you eat something bad that you know you're not supposed to, you really feel it the next day. Though. That's the thing. And so if you feel like shit the next day, you're more inclined to make yourself feel better and to eat another bad thing, and then that's a cycle, right? So
I mean, that happens every once in a while for me, but I feel like on the days where I'm like, ugh, like I just feel gross. Like I immediately will just have handfuls of fruits and vegetables. Like I feel like that's.
So what's some of the healthy food that you keep around the house?
I love mangoes. I love fruit. I think fruit's like.
Fruit's got carbs though.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. So I'm not doing like the full, like I guess keto thing.
Sure.
I just pretty much cut out like the breads and the pastas and
Sugars.
and sugars. I don't eat a whole lot of sugar.
I call
like, at
those
all.
the 3 white devils.
Ah.
Pasta, dairy, and sugar.
See, I love dairy. I love
You're a cheese
cheese.
person.
Yeah, mozzarella sticks. Yeah, yep.
You should just make your own keto mozzarella sticks. Google it. Huh? You could use like almond flour,
I really want to try. So they have almond flour tortillas.
keto cheese. Oh yeah, hell yeah, they do.
I haven't tried those yet.
Those are like 5 grams of carbs.
Are they?
Yeah, they're super low, or maybe like 3 or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I'd just start doing like instead like when I would want tacos, I
Mm-hmm.
would just do like everything but the shells. Just have like taco salad.
Oh, that sounds yummy.
So good.
This is a conversation for another time, but like I dated this bulimic for years when I was it was my first girlfriend, and like I remember I was a punk, 17, 18, 19, and so I worked whatever job I could and pay for dates and stuff like that. And it was terrible to not to make this about me, but it was terrible to like go out to eat with her and then she would just eat so much and then just throw it up. Like it fucked with me. And I was powerless.
Like was she open with you about this? Like this is what she's doing?
Oh yeah. Yeah, it fucked me up too. Like not to make it about me, but I was, I just felt so powerless and also responsible. Like at the same time, I felt so guilty. And so without meaning to, I lost 70 pounds without meaning to. Like I recorded this video in my senior year and my friends are like, dude, you lost a lot of weight. And I was like, huh? I saw the video and I was like, that's me? Like I didn't see it. I didn't feel it. I didn't think it. And I just stopped eating. Like I didn't mean to. I just couldn't eat like around her. And so I have like this, it's hard for me to like have a healthy diet because my brain's very extreme. It's just like, well, then I won't eat. Like if you listen to Jocko Willink,
Okay, yeah.
he's so extreme. He'll be like, if you go to an airport, like just fast. If you're traveling, people will say traveling's my, I got to eat something when I'm traveling. He's like, just fast, 72-hour fast. And so I'm like, yes, sir.
Yeah.
And then I go 50 hours and then I'm like at a KFC afterwards, because it's like just this high and low and my body's like starving and I can't do it. And no, I don't eat KFC, but you know what I'm saying? Like, and so that era really fucked up this relationship with food and also like negative associations with even losing weight. Like I don't even know. Like I remember being, for me, 170 pounds, which right now I'm like 240. So being 170 pounds, like people were like, would body shame me, at the same time, like you're too skinny. Like Mexican cultures are like, eat more. Yeah.
Yep.
And it was just like, no, I don't want to eat. And so like it's the relationship with food. That's like the hardest part for me. I can work out. Breathing is like, I'm really into breathing. This sounds so strange, but like it helps with panic attacks, anxiety.
Oh yeah.
Supposedly like you exhale fat. Like, look into it. Like, that's how fat, sweat, right? Of course, but fat leaves your body through exhalation. And so I know for me, like, if I'm running and I'm breathing, I can almost piss myself from like a runner's high. And it's happened.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, I'm going to piss myself. Like, it just gets so high from just like this syncopated breathing or whatever. And so I love all that. But then it's just my relationship with food is like, well, I can have one Twix. No, I cannot. You know, so I'm trying to repair that. But any advice that you have would be great. That's why I asked, like, you know, what's some, because you have to have good foods on demand, you know?
Yeah. I mean, what do you keep like fruits and vegetables in the house? Like, is that something that's like a normal?
Yeah, but it's
thing?
not like emphasized. You know, it's just there.
I mean, do you have like favorite fruits and vegetables that like you could eat
I'm
like every
a
day?
mango guy. I like mangoes. I like avocados. That's my shit.
Yes.
Like, once again, I used to get like made fun of for like just eating a raw avocado, just like
raw
is
avocado with salt. Put salt on there.
Yeah.
Yep.
Heaven. You know, people are like, "Oh, what's Knives gonna have an avocado?" And I'm like, you know, it's a berry. This is a fascinating berry. You know, it's a berry, but you didn't know that. It's a berry.
Interesting. Is it because it has a seed?
Well, it is a fruit. It's part of the fruit kingdom.
Which I don't see it as a fruit.
It's a total fruit?
I see it as a vegetable, but I know
False.
it's
False, Jen. Sorry. Will not let you take that one with you. It's a fruit and it's a berry. I think I want to say. I could be wrong about that. I was so confident. Now you got me second guessing myself. But that's delicious. I mean, I could eat 3 avocados in a day. I don't, but I could. Like, they're so good. But it's just, you know, and also emotionally, I'll get triggered with something and then I'll want to punish myself with like eating a lot. It's terrible. It's not good.
So you actually like set out, I'm mad at myself, I'm going to stuff my face until I can't move.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
See, mine's just, it just happens. Like, it's not anything that I'm like, all right. I mean, I'll definitely go, you know, grab food.
Well, there's
and
two
be
voices. There's one voice is like, don't do it, Knives, stop. Wait, stop. And then the other voice is like, I can't. And then I'm just watching myself do this.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, you're like, stupid piece of shit, you know?
Yeah.
And then 2 years go by.
Yeah.
So it's rough, man. But like, I really have so much respect for you for seeing it through and staying on the path and just getting it done. And you look so healthy and you seem like you feel better about yourself. And that's the most important thing. Like, in order to make good work and have great relationships with people and have the guts to jump out of an airplane, you have to feel good about yourself first and foremost. And so I'm really proud of you that you're putting in that work in. It inspires me because not that I ever thought that like, oh, she probably feels like she's a lost cause, but it's easy to feel like you're a lost cause. And then I see you staying on the wagon. It's like, you just have to do it every day. That's the
I mean,
hard
it's
part.
definitely, I mean, that's the thing though, is like it might seem like it's an everyday thing. I still have really shitty days, you know, and still, it's definitely not an every single day. Yeah, this is awesome. This is great. I feel awesome. No.
Okay.
No.
The highlight reel on the internet just fucks all of us.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, because
It does. And especially like on those low days that you have, you look online and you're like, what's wrong with me? You know, like, why can't I do this? Or why am I not there?
That's bad.
You know, yeah. The comparison is horrible.
Fuck comparison.
Yeah.
For sure. We need to live in a more, I talk about this with some buddies, you know, good for you. We need more like good for you culture as opposed to, wouldn't that be nice? Oh, that must be nice.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of like passive aggression,
Jealousy,
pettiness. I was went to the gym earlier and I came back, and the walk is like the most therapeutic part for me. It's just like 3 miles away, and
You walk 3 miles to the gym?
it's not that. I mean, I like walking, so it's not a big deal.
See, that's awesome. I don't.
It's something,
Yeah.
but it's never enough. It's never enough.
Is it ever?
I've never experienced enough. I want to be that guy that's like, I'm running the marathon. I'm going to run a marathon. I'm training for a marathon. I want to be that guy because like some people that I work with, one of the people I work with, she's ran a marathon across the Great Wall of China.
Oh my gosh.
That's very inspiring. You
Wow.
know? And she's like, I just found out how old she was, and it's not what I expected. I was like, damn, like she's crushing life. Like that's the secret. That's the secret of life. But I'm not that guy. I just walk and meditate and think, and you know, it also helps with creativity. And like these words came into my mind. That's how I process like anger as well. And I was thinking about pettiness, and I'm like, I'm always, you know how people say be the bigger man? I'm always the bigger man. I'm always the person that makes a phone call first and is like, I love you. Let's just move on. And I was like, but every now and then I want to be petty. I just want to be. Everybody else gets to be petty.
Right.
But since I grew up on television, I want to be that character that is the good guy.
Right.
You know? And so, and I was just thinking about pettiness, and just today on this walk, and I was thinking pettiness is like a gum that loses flavor.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it doesn't
I like
taste
that.
good. It doesn't taste good
No.
after a while, you know, and then
I mean, I don't think it ever tastes good.
It
but for
doesn't.
some reason,
no,
it gets chewed.
It's a flavorless broth.
Yeah.
You know, it's just, and little things like that. That's why I continue to. That's where I'm happy. You know, it's like my meditation. You know, and like being on an airplane for 4 hours. I hate these like 90-minute airplane trips. Like I hate that kind of stuff. I like
You like long flights,
dude. When I went to Hawaii, yeah, that was like I don't know.
I want to say that's like a 6 hour.
Yeah, it was more than 5 for
Yeah.
sure. It wasn't long enough.
Wow.
Give me a 12-hour flight because I get work done, and like I feel better once it's over. Like I'm that guy.
See, that's awesome.
Do you think?
I think it's awesome. I mean, I don't feel. I can barely sleep on a plane. Like,
Oh no, I can sleep anywhere. I can sleep
Yeah,
in the
no.
trunk of a car. I have. Okay, I was gonna be honest with you, and I have
in the trunk.
in the trunk of
Oh.
any car. I don't care,
All right.
and I have. It's comfortable. But
Nice and cozy.
for real, it feels like being in the womb. You know,
Yeah.
I love it. But Jen, thank you so much for doing the podcast. Was it as difficult as you thought it was going to be?
No, this was super easy.
Easy?
This was, yeah. I was definitely nervous though because I'm like, I don't know.
We're friends.
what-
We're just going
yeah,
to chat.
I know.
What's the big fucking deal?
I don't know.
We
But
gotta-
this was awesome.
But we got to do it again.
Oh, absolutely.
I think I'll be in Arizona.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and I take my gear with me wherever I go.
Do you have any idea when?
Sometime this year.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
At some point.
We'll figure it out. That way we can do it there. And then whenever you come back here, I mean, you come back to Austin at least 2 times like a year, right?
It's more like every like 3 or 4 months. So I'm probably gonna be
4
back.
times.
Yeah. I'll probably be back like June, July.
Let me know
something like
when,
that.
and I'll make a little micro movie about your skydiving journey.
Oh,
You could be that person that wears a GoPro, and we'll get all the angles.
that'd be way cool. So,
serious.
I'd have to get to 200 jumps to be able to wear a GoPro.
Are you
That's
really?
the only thing.
200.
Yeah. You have to have 200 jumps in order to have a camera.
Wow.
So that's probably not going to happen anytime soon.
I
You
see-
never know,
I see you
but-
getting there.
Yeah.
I see you getting there.
I mean, I would love once that. I mean, obviously the fear is always going to be there, but I feel like once that's gone, I would absolutely love to do video
Yeah,
of like tandems and stuff. So
it's gonna happen. Where can people find your work on the internet if they want some sick ass photos?
at livephotographyaz.com. As well on Instagram and Facebook, same thing. So Live Photography AZ.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me. This was awesome.
My pleasure.